G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/AmITheA, where on today's episode we debate the ethics of whether it's okay to yell at your sister and ask for your money back. Me personally, that just sounds like another day of my childhood. Anyway, if you love today's content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the Barbie, and get ready for it. Let's go. Am I the asshole for yelling at my sister and telling her I want my money back? So my 40 male sister, Rachel, 29 female, escaped a bad marriage with her daughter, Katrina, 8 female, almost 8 months ago. My other sister, Jillian, 34 female, lived in the same state as them, so she and her husband offered to take them in, and they set up a GoFundMe to help Rachel get back on her feet. I donated $1,000. I used to call or FaceTime Rachel and Katrina at least twice a week when they were staying with Jillian, and they always insisted everything was fine and they were happy there. Then 2 months ago, Rachel called me and asked if she could stay with me for a while. Jillian and her husband kicked them out because they couldn't pay rent anymore. Apparently all of the money raised from the GoFundMe was used to pay rent to Jillian and her husband. Additionally, Rachel has been taking care of their kids, 2 female and 5 male, full-time, as well as doing all the cooking and cleaning while paying rent for her and her daughter to sleep on the floor of the kids' playroom. I flew them out, and they've been staying with me, my wife, and our kids ever since. When Rachel told me everything, I called Jillian and berated her for how she treated Rachel and Katrina. She tried to defend it by saying they needed the money and that it was expensive having them living there. I lost my temper and told her that she's full of crap and demanded that she give me my money back. Jillian tried to argue that she needs that money for her kids, but she eventually returned it. Now she's telling the family that I'm a monster that took money from her and her kids, and I'm starting to doubt myself. Am I the asshole for demanding that my sister give me my money back? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I think I might be the asshole because Jillian and her husband aren't very well off and can use the money. You know what? They can use the money, and they sure can use a person for all they're worth, can't they? For all these crocodile tears they've shed to you on the phone, it seems like they had absolutely no problem disposing of Rachel and Katrina, who had escaped an already abusive situation. If anything, I think that Jillian deserves a lot more than what you've given her in this situation. I feel like she's been let off very lightly. Not the asshole, OP. Now in the comments, not the asshole. Jillian should have made it clear that she could not host them or be upfront about taking the money for her own family. It is understandable that someone would want to be compensated for extra cost of living, but it sounds like Rachel compensated already with the childcare, cooking, and cleaning. Didn't Jillian save money from not having to pay for childcare? How did she do that before? Not the asshole. It sounds like Jillian treated your other sister like an indentured servant. It would have been impossible for your sister to get back on her feet in order to support her daughter. Report the GoFundMe, as it's clearly only going to Jillian, not the asshole. And this, also get Rachel into therapy stat. She's become a complete doormat. No doubt groomed by her ex. Your other sister took advantage. Not the asshole, but this probably isn't going to end well for you with the rest of the family. Jillian looked at Rachel's situation and saw someone too desperate to say no to whatever was asked. Adding 2 people into a house that's already stretched thin isn't easy, but it definitely can be done without turning the new person into a servant. Jillian is wrong in every aspect of this situation. If a lot of your family acts like Jillian, you're going to get a lot of hate from them. What's done is done. You can't expect Rachel to stay there for free. It's the least Rachel could do because Jillian was doing so much for her. And on and on. You did the right thing helping out Rachel. If you don't need the money, I personally feel that giving it back to Rachel would be the best solution. Stand your ground with your family, support your sister and niece, and F everybody's opinion. And OP replies to that, I was thinking of using the money to start a college fund for Katrina. I have a job lined up for Rachel, and she should be able to start next month, so I think this might be a better use of the money. And now on to the update. So I talked to Rachel about what they were doing with Jillian, and we decided to give Jillian an ultimatum. Either she gives Rachel all of the money from the GoFundMe, or we report her to GoFundMe and tell the family about how Rachel and Katrina were treated while they stayed with them. She chose the former, and we worked out a payment plan so that she'll pay it back over the next 12 months while paying back 5% interest rate. She's already sent the first payment, and we are hoping we won't have any problems with this. Katrina is also starting to do better. She is talking more and is okay with staying with our nanny for a couple of hours if Rachel has to step out. She is going to start 2nd grade with my daughter next week, and we think it'll be really good for her. Also, both Rachel and Katrina are in therapy now, and Katrina will be getting extra help through her school. That's about it. I'd like to thank everyone for their comments and advice on my original post. I showed it to Rachel, and seeing other people acknowledged that how she was treated wasn't okay, helped her agree to confront Jillian and demand the money back. Now in the comments, talk to a lawyer just in case. One payment is easy to make, but that is a far cry from actually giving Rachel all of the money, and there is likely a statute of limitations involved. You will want to have your ducks in a row in case in month 3, Jillian decides that she just can't afford it, and Rachel will just have to deal. One payment is a great way to show that she acknowledges and agrees to the debt though. That will make it easier for the lawyer. You are a brilliant problem solver and negotiator. Well done for getting your sister to accept her wrongdoing and commit to making it right. Well done for supporting your other sister and niece in the correct manner. You have great emotional awareness, self-care boundaries, appropriate behavior modeling, and empathy. Just make sure you all keep track of the repayments Jillian is making to Rachel, and make sure you have it in you to actually follow through with alerting GoFundMe and the family to Jillian's financial abuse, and such. Sometimes people will say, okay fine, I'll give it back, and make 1 or 2 payments, and then attempt to cry poverty or hardships that prevent them from making more payments on the balance owed. I hope that Rachel and your lovely niece find some happiness and peace in your home. Blessed be for all in your home. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for not wanting to give my bed to my roommate? A little bit of background. I, female 26, live with one of my closest friends, Thomas, male 26, in a 3-bedroom apartment. My bedroom, his bedroom, and the spare room he uses as a gaming room/library. He pays more than me. Basically, he pays the 2 rooms, and I pay only mine, so it's fair. We have, or had, a friend, Adam, male 27, who dated this girl Sana, female 22. She's from Japan or China. I can't remember properly. She's really nice and they lived together for a while, but then they got a messy breakup. We sided more with her than him. She didn't have a place to live anymore, so we let her move in with us. She helps pay bills and stuff until she can find a proper place or go back to her home. Everything is mostly okay. She's staying in the living room, sleeping on the couch, and well, that's a cheap, hard couch, so not the best, but it's better than living on the street. Well, like 2 days ago or so, Sana got sick. Well, not sick. She's just in pain, but anyways. As I mentioned, the living room couch is super uncomfortable, so she went to the spare room, put some pillows on the floor, and just rested there, which is fine by me. But Thomas hated it. He spends the most time in there, so he was upset that she invaded his space. So back to the living room she went, which to be honest annoys me a little bit, as the living room is a common area, and having her laying on the couch whining in pain all day is a bit annoying. So I brought this up to Thomas, saying that he can spend a few days without using that spare room until she feels better, but he's upset that I'd even suggest that, and suggested that I give my bed to Sana and sleep on the couch until she feels better. No way in hell am I sleeping there. This has brought conflict between us both, as he thinks that I'm a hypocrite, and Sana is pretty upset about the couch being uncomfortable plus not feeling well. Thomas now thinks I'm a total asshole, but I think he is. So am I the asshole? Now in the comments, do either of you see this person you invited to live with you as a human being? He's mad about someone in severe pain invading the spare room. You are annoyed that someone in severe pain is laying on the couch whining. It's incredibly messed up that both of you see a woman in pain as an annoyance to bigger over. You're the asshole. You don't necessarily have to let her sleep in your bed, but maybe try to summon a 1/4 ounce of compassion between the 2 of you. You're the asshole. Who the hell invites someone to live with them and treats them like garbage? I hope she's not paying rent. OP replies, normally it was divided 40-60, but with her here, she is paying bills and 10%. So why won't you even let her have a blow-up mattress? Y'all are tacky. Both of you are assholes. What makes you the asshole in this is your apathetic, uncompassionate, unsympathetic, and dismissive comments about this poor woman who you know for a fact is unwell and in pain. Yet you have the audacity to say, and having her laying around on the couch whining all day is annoying? What the hell would you like her to do exactly? Should she muzzle herself to stifle her cries? Should she go lay in a hot car? What do you expect her to do? You already know that the couch is uncomfortable as it is. Her having to lay there sick and in pain is only exasperated by the fact that the couch is uncomfortable. Maybe you should work on your empathy because damn, I don't know how annoyed you are. That's not okay to say about someone. I doubt you would like to be spoken about in such a disrespectful manner if you were the one sick and in pain. You both agreed to let her stay there. If you want to be annoyed with your equally apathetic, unsympathetic, and uncompassionate roommate who is very much an asshole for denying a sick woman a more comfortable place to rest despite having the means to do so. Speaking as a chronically ill and disabled person myself, whose pain level is at an 8 on the daily on a scale of 1 to 10, even with my meds, people like both of you seriously piss me off. I would not consider either one of you actual friends if I were that poor girl. In fact, with friends like y'all, who needs enemies? Maybe think about how it would feel to be in her position before you make such callous remarks about someone's pain. All of this nonsense because you're annoyed that you can't use your common area the way you want to right now because she's laying on your uncomfortable couch and whining in pain. On the couch which you and your roomie told her she could use. Unfriggin' believable. Get the hell out. And now back up to the post, there's an edit to add. I accept my judgment as an asshole. Just here to say that we are taking Sana to the ER in the middle of the night. And now, on to the update. So yeah, I was an asshole, Thomas was too. We ended up at emergency response at 3 AM with Sana crying her soul out over how bad she felt. She had appendicitis, almost peritonitis. I read every comment and message, even if I didn't reply to everyone. Even though Sana had offered before to pay for the third room, Thomas didn't give in. We settled on to what most people here suggested, a futon. Thomas and I don't love it, but it is what it is. Of course, Sana is scared being at the hospital in a country she doesn't know. Turns out she's Korean, and she had to ask for money from her ex, but her family is returning it though. We put the futon in the living room, and I agreed to not get upset if she complains while I'm there. She will stay for us for a while until she is better, and then return to her country. She found a new place to stay here that will be free in a few months, but she doesn't want to stay. I apologized and we followed everyone's advice to make this living arrangement a little bit easier. Now in the comments, I wish I could take Sana in and treat her with the dignity any human being deserves. In my opinion, you are both still being assholes to this poor girl who is sick and scared. No wonder she's going back to her home country. There's a spare room, she's offered to pay for it, and you are still making her sleep on a futon in the living room. You both suck. Thomas sucks more than you, but you're a housemate. You get a say. Stand up for Sana. Do we pass judgment for updates? You're the asshole. Both of these people seem cruel and lacking basic empathy. Poor girl is trapped in a foreign country with crap human beings for roommates with no choice to escape. I feel so bad for her. Despite realizing they're the asshole, the solution they came up with is a futon, and she feels like her major contribution to this situation is to overlook how ugly the futon looks in a living room. Don't forget, she has magnanimously promised to not get upset if the roommate is in pain after surgery. Someone get these people an award. They barely got her to the hospital before she died. So brave. Am I the asshole? This girl Sana died in my apartment. I'm really upset because it was really hard hauling her body out of the apartment. My roommate insisted that we put her in the neighbor's dumpster, which took a lot longer. I ripped the sleeve on my jacket, and I think her phone was in her pocket, so I can't even sell that. Am I the asshole for telling my roommate to buy me a new jacket? That's so ridiculous. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for making my 18-year-old brother watch disturbing videos as punishment? When I, 26 male, was 22 years old, I had to step up and take custody of my younger brother, Isaac. He was 14 then and is 18 now. It was really hard on me. I had to step up and suddenly become a parent to him. Our parents were drug addicts and they're not in the picture, and almost all of our family abandoned us, promised to be there and just never stepped up. Isaac is a really sensitive kid. Sometimes he has really bad panic attacks and needs huge amounts of reassurance. He is not so independent on the emotional side, but he is still very responsible and doing good in school. He just likes to stay with me and live at home while in college. Recently, he had some friends over and they were drinking. We live in Europe, 18 is the legal age. I didn't mind that until they got out and wanted to drive around. I called Isaac aside, I asked him what he was doing, and he said he only had one beer, and that's nothing, and that he was fine. I said no, and he got upset and started to argue with me. I didn't want to embarrass him, so I told him to go inside and told his friends that we had some emergency and that I'm sorry that they had to go without Isaac. We had some arguments back and forth. I told him to sit down at the computer and played some compilations of drunk driving videos. Isaac started to freak out after one video, but I made him stay for at least 5 minutes. I was watching it with him. He wasn't having a full-on panic attack, but he was slightly trembling. After that, he just apologized and went into his room. He didn't get out for about 3 hours, and when he did, he wasn't talking to me much. Only short answers. I'm scared I traumatized him. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I think I may be an asshole because I knew how sensitive my brother is and should have thought more before making him do something that could disturb him. Look, honestly, OP, a little bit of trauma, a little bit of shaking up is okay when it compares to the alternate reality of this situation, where he drives, he gets in a crash and dies, or he kills another family, you know? There's a lot of situations that could happen here that we don't want to happen. Sometimes you need tough love in situations like this, because yeah, it stopped him from getting in the car, being an idiot, and drink driving. I'd say the means justify the ends in this situation. I'm gonna say you're not the asshole for it. Now in the comments, not the asshole. You did the right thing. He might be traumatized over the video, but at least it wasn't him. It is better for him to understand the dangers of drunk driving, give him some time, and then talk to him in a reassuring way that you only care for his safety, that whenever he drinks, you will be available to pick him up or call a rider for him so he won't be in danger. In QC, they make you watch people that lost their life as a part of the class sometimes. To be honest, it sounded like a punishment from the title, but that's just showing what life is. Only thing is that I maybe would have stopped when he asked to stop and talked to him about it afterwards. Not the asshole. Requirement in driver's ed is a drunk driving video. Visual aids are powerful. And is that true in America? I don't think there's any requirement here like that in the UK, unless there's been a change in the law. American here. When I was in high school, every other year before prom, they would stage a mock accident, where they got 2 cars that had been in an accident and set up a drunk driving accident on the football field, and everyone had to sit and watch as the paramedics and firefighters in real time would cut the car apart to rescue people. Over the loudspeakers, they would be playing dialogue from right before the accident about how the driver of one of the car was okay to drive because they'd only just had a few drinks, and once the scene had been cleared and people were driven off in ambulances or covered with a white sheet, a person who was a victim of a drunk driver would come out and talk to us about the realities of their life post-accident. We had this, except it lasted a whole week. The kids who were involved in the accident were out of classes for the whole week. They went to the library or some study room out of eyeshot, and we got updates about how one was in jail and what was going on. One was in the hospital, and another one had died. On Friday of the week, we all went to the dead one's funeral, also on the football field, and that's when we got the speech about the impact of drunk driving, etc. And not the arsehole. I've had 2 friends and 1 family member killed by drunk drivers. I have zero sympathy for people that drive impaired. Making him watch a video is better than letting him kill someone's mother, sister, or child. Absolutely zero sympathy. One of my best friends was killed by a drunk driver over 10 years ago, and it still makes my blood boil to hear people talking about it. And now back up to the post, there is an edit/update. I talked to Isaac today. I explained to him why I showed him the videos, explained that 1 beer can lead to more, and that I will always be there to pick him up, even when I have work in the morning. Isaac told me he got more upset that I seemed angry, and not because of the videos. Isaac says he understands and that it was a bad idea, and promised he won't try and do that ever again. I believe him. He also said he expected me to come up to his room, which is something I know now, so there's that. The 2 of us drove around, played some music, and enjoyed our time. My brother is okay, and he is not traumatized. Thank you everyone for your judgments. And yeah, that's where I'm going to leave the story, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd love to know some of your stories if you did have these drunk driving kind of demonstrations back at school. Personally, over here in Australia, we didn't really have big demonstrations like it sounds like American schools have. We just every now and then have like police, fire brigade people come to the school and be like, yeah, drunk driving really bad. Here's some videos and here's why it's so bad. Also, my family killed by drunk drivers. It could be you too one day. Goddamn, some of these stories that I heard from them really drilled in. I was like, I do not want to be behind the wheel or the victim of one of these drunk drivers. No thank you. I'm kind of glad that I haven't experienced any of my friends or family die from drunk driving, but you know, with life it's just a dice roll. I imagine one day I might have to experience that, and I'm not looking forward to it. Anyway, enough of my rambling. I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.